Snake plants are some of the best plants to have in our home. They are one of the few houseplants that absorb carbon dioxide during the day and release their oxygen at night. They are also one of the highest oxygen-releasing plants. They remove toxins and are incredibly easy care, perfect plants for beginners. With over 70 different varieties, they are perfect to spruce up the look of any space. In this episode of my Houseplant Care 101 series, I will be covering the top 7 snake plant care tips to make your snake plants love you. This Houseplant Care 101 series is sponsored by rePotme.com. With rePotme, you can have all of your houseplant supplies delivered right to your door. They are a one-stop shop for all of your houseplant, orchid, or succulent needs. They have custom handmade houseplant soils ranging from tropical houseplants, cactus and succulents, pothos, snake plants, and more. I cannot live without their clear slotted orchid pots. They have amazing houseplant fertilizers and so much more. I've included their link in my description below, and you can get 10% off any soil with my code Ashley. One of the best ways to ensure that you have a healthy snake plant is choosing a healthy snake plant from the store. The first thing you can do is make sure to examine the leaves and around the base of the plant to ensure there are no pests. I also recommend checking the leaves for any brown spots. Brown spots can indicate fungus or bacteria. Also, if the plant has soft, mushy leaves, this could indicate root rot. You want the leaves to feel firm and not bendy. Now, if possible, it's also really helpful to check the roots of the plant at the store because this will really let you know if the plant is healthy or not. You want to avoid snake plants that have dark brown, mushy roots because that indicates that that plant definitely has root rot. Also avoid if the plant has been overwatered at the store. If you pick it up and it's just completely saturated, maybe avoid that plant and try to find a snake plant that has a little bit of drier soil because you don't want to take that plant home and it develops root rot over the next few days from being overwatered at the store. Now, on that note, correct watering is probably the most important step when it comes to caring for your snake plants and making them love you. Now, snake plants are some of the easiest plants to own, but it's important not to overwater. They are a succulent and store a lot of water in their leaves. This results in them needing less watering. A good rule of thumb is to wait until the soil is dry to water. And if you're still unsure, check if the leaves look puckered or feel thin and bendy. If that's the case, the plant is in need of a good drink. Now, there are 2 different ways you can water. If you do water directly into the top of the soil, that is totally fine. Just try to avoid getting water in the base of the leaves, as this will help prevent fungus and mold building up on the leaves. Now, bottom watering is also a great option for snake plants, as it allows them the opportunity to absorb exactly the amount of water it needs. Here you can see this snake plant as I bottom water, and it will just take some time. It'll soak up all of the water it needs. It actually, you can see here, it quickly soaks up a lot of the water. And then once it's done, just remove any of the water that's still sitting in the saucer or bowl where you are bottom watering it. Probably needs about 30 minutes, and after that, just remove any extra water. Next up is lighting. Snake plants can survive in lower light areas, and they're known for being low light tolerant. However, they really thrive in bright indirect light. They are native to Africa and really bright areas, so bright indirect light is perfect for these plants, and they'll actually bloom in bright light, which is great to see a snake plant blooming. Now, this snake plant has been living in the corner, and although it's doing okay, it's not thriving, it's not growing new leaves, so I decided to make a simple change, and by placing it in front of the window and moving my lamp fixture over to the side, it's no longer blocked by the curtain, and it will be so much happier. Now, if you do have your snake plant in direct sun, some people will put their snake plants outside during the summer, it is recommended to ease your plant into a direct sunlight area. Otherwise, the leaves can get sunburnt. Next up is soil, and snake plants are a succulent and they require well-draining soil. I'm using the snake plant soil from rePotme.com. I've linked it in my description below. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of their custom-made soils, but you can easily create your own soil. Do not use a standard potting mix because it will retain too much water and it can cause root rot to your snake plant. To create your own soil, you can mix about 75% cactus mix and 25% houseplant potting mix, or you could do a 50-50 mix. It doesn't have to be exact. You just want to make sure that the soil is very, very well draining, and you want to incorporate a lot of pumice and perlite or sand. Again, just emphasizing that it needs to be well draining. Next up is repotting, and you only want to repot when the roots become compact. Too much soil around the roots can cause root rot. Now, when it comes to choosing a pot, I recommend two different options. Terracotta is a great choice. It wicks away moisture and it helps prevent overwatering. The other option is a pot that has a lot of drainage. My personal favorite are the slotted orchid pots from Repotme.com, and they enable me to view the moisture in the soil. I can see the state of the roots, and they have plenty of drainage for the plant when I water them. It also enables me to choose different cover pots of my choosing and not have to replant the entire plant each time I choose a new pot. Make sure to only go 1 or 2 inches bigger when you are repotting. Next up is propagation, and snake plants can be propagated by leaf cuttings and by division. I'll be showing examples of both. Now, when you're propagating by leaf, you can create multiple cuttings from one leaf. And then you take those cuttings and put them in water. Just make sure you are using clean shears to cut the leaf, and always put the cuttings the correct way in the water, facing the same way that it was on the plant. Over a few weeks, roots will begin to grow in the water, and you will eventually be able to pot it up in soil. The next way is propagating by divisions. Now, snake plants grow pups or offshoots that can divide into separate plants. Here I have an uncommon snake plant. It's one of my favorites. It's called a whale fin, and this is actually a variegated version, which means it has a little bit of different color throughout the leaf. It has variegation. That's that white color on there, and they're really uncommon and they can be very expensive. Now, this one started as one leaf, which looks really cool with a whale fin snake plant, but it's grown 2 additional plants that I can propagate and have 3 different variegated whale fins. So to propagate by division, all you do is remove the soil down to the rhizome or the main root of the plant, and using your clean shears, divide the offshoot from the mother plant. Now, you want to make sure that the offshoot has its own set of roots when dividing. I'm actually dividing the 2 additional plants off of this mother plant. It's grown really fast, actually. It's very exciting. And now once you've divided it, you can pot it up in your snake plant soil, give it some water, and you are good to go. So last up, tip number 7 is fertilizing. Now, snake plants do not need much fertilizing, so I recommend always erring on the side of caution. You never want to over-fertilize your plants. So when you do fertilize, make sure to use a cactus and succulent fertilizer. There's a great one from Repotme.com that I recommend, but any fertilizer that says cactus and succulent should be fine. Now, only fertilize maybe once a month during the growing season or summer months. And when you are starting back up with fertilizing, begin at half strength to ease your plant into the growing season, preventing over-fertilizing. So those are the top 7 snake plant care tips to make your snake plants absolutely love you. If you have any additional tips, please leave them in the comments below. If you'd like to see future plant videos show up in your newsfeed, make sure to subscribe. We also have a wonderful plant community on Instagram, and huge thank you to Repotme.com again for partnering with me on my Houseplant Care 101 series. I have included a link in my description below to all of their amazing plant care products. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. You'll definitely be seeing me soon. Bye!